Hi there, we're gonna start up today in downward facing dog, just to walk and stretch a little bit. If you need more warm-up for our yin yoga today, please do some of my other videos. Otherwise, just follow me along with a little bit of stretching right here. And we're gonna add 2 or 3 dancing dogs. And back to downward facing dog. And then we're gonna get ready for our very first pose. I like to use a block, and it's the lizard pose. So right leg is forward, use 1 or 2 blocks right under your hands, because we're gonna hold those yin yoga poses for about 2 minutes. You can hold those poses longer, up to 5 minutes, the more you practice. So you may want to pause the video as you're in the pose and stretch longer if you desire to do so. But 2 minutes is a good range if you do this on a regular basis, couple times a week, to build your flexibility and really reap the benefits. As the body gives, you may lower the blocks or get rid of the blocks completely. Just let your breath flow easy in and out of your nose. No need to force the breath. The only thing, do not hold your breath. See, the body is giving after about 30 to 40 seconds. You're going beyond your muscles, you're going deeper, and the flexibility is increased. So I move the blocks completely. And you may walk your right leg a bit more out so you have more room for your torso. You can also come onto the right pinky toe side of your foot and let that knee leaning deeper. And then eventually coming onto your forearms, or you can place the blocks under your forearms. Blanket might be a good idea as well. So you always want to watch a video quickly through before you actually do it, so you can familiarize yourself with what you need. You want to make yourself as comfortable as you can in a yin yoga pose, so you can let go and relax. I'm going to come back up, and now we're going to stretch here and come into a low lunge just for 2 or 3 breaths. I like to combine a little bit of movement after a holding pose. And then we're going to get here into the hamstrings. Flex your right toes, and you want to lengthen your right glute behind you and tucking that out, right hip under. So it's not so much about rounding here in the spine, okay? And then we're gonna switch it up. So we're getting ready now to hold the lizard pose on the left side. I feel more flexible after doing one side, so I'm opting out of the blocks here, but feel free to use them. See how I'm bringing both arms, both hands into the inside of my left leg, and letting that left leg fall comfortably to the side. I'm not rounding in my spine, and I'm letting that breath flow. It's a wonderful way to really turn inward and relax your mind as well. And then you will feel when the body is ready and when you can go deeper in the pose. So if you're new to yin yoga, you might not right away want to come onto your elbows unless you have really good flexibility. A bolster under your forearms would be a good idea, or a bigger pillow, a body pillow, anything what aids you in the pose. I'm having here the blanket under my knee, under the right knee, just to demonstrate you to cushion this a little bit, especially if you have a hard floor. While you could easily do this on a carpet, so have your mat on a carpet. And then we're gonna come again here into that kneeling lunge, stretching the hip flexors, and then we're gonna straighten the hamstring here again, just for 2 or 3 breaths. Stretching now the left hip or glute back and tucking the left hip under. Long spine, not rounding. And then we're gonna come here into 3 cat-cows, just to round out that spine. It feels in particularly good if you move between a yin pose. And then we're gonna set up here, well, I decided to get some blocks to show you. Right leg straight forward and left leg bends into the groin. You may want to use a block here in the inside for your head or sometimes the chest. So walk it slowly forward. Remember, we're going to be here for 2 minutes, so you may start a little higher and then as the body gives, go a little lower. Whatever you do, just try to let go and relax. So yin yoga is mostly done seated or laying down because our lower body is very rich in connective tissue. And the connective tissue, another word for that is fascia. You might have heard that word before. And we want to rejuvenate our body's tissue as we're holding the poses longer. What happens is it goes beyond a muscle stretch. It goes really deep into the fascia, the connective tissue, into the last layer of your skin, and you're stretching the bands and the tendons all around it to build flexibility and to strengthen your joints and your bands and tendons. You may just want to rest your forehead on your knee. Again, you may use the block or a bolster. Slowly push yourself up and switch sides. Always make yourself comfortable. Pull the buttocks flash a little bit out. And perhaps start with a block on that side again. Having that left leg straight forward. And remember, you always open up on the second side a bit easier. And then of course, you know, we have preferences. One side is always a bit more flexible than the other side. Yin yoga calms the mind, reduces stress and anxiety. And the more often you do it, the more you will reap the benefits. I do it at least once a week. If I'm not teaching it, then I do it maybe twice a week. In particular, after a tough workout where I did a lot of jumping or HIIT, I feel the desire, the need to do a yin practice. You will see longer and shorter yin practices according to your schedule. So let's shake it out. Pull that buttocks flash out here again, and we're gonna come or fold forward into Padmasana, both legs. Again, you may use a block. Start not going so deep right away. You can put here your chin on a block, or again use a pillow. Find out what works for you. You want to bend forward from the hips, trying to keep that spine as long and straight as you can before you start rounding a little bit more in your thoracic spine, your upper back. Another benefit of yin yoga is increased circulation, and it improves your joint mobility. And it centers and balances your mind. I try to move my neck here in between, that I'm not creating any tension, but never really sit up in those 2 minutes you're holding it. Let's come back up, reach your arms high and come here into a cactus, just to let that blood flow. And we're gonna come here into single heroes pose. So this is a pose you want to start easy. Again, you may put a blanket under your left knee, lining up your left foot with your hip. Start sitting up nice and tall until you're ready to go a little bit deeper into the pose. So starting by bringing your hands behind you, and make sure that the knee is not lifting off the mat. Open them about hip width apart. The next step might be your elbows, and you might be here for a long time until your quad muscles lengthen and build flexibility. I start up slow and build my poses. You reap the same benefits, and then when you're ready, feel free to lay all the way back. So when you do that, you see how my back is arching. That is totally normal. You can have your arms out by your side, or like I did, above your head, whatever feels comfortable. And you're stretching here the hip flexors and the quad muscles. Those are 4 long, deep muscles in our thighs. Yin yoga is also very calming for the para nervous system. It aids your thyroid in healing, and it stops unnecessary cortisol put out. Yin yoga in the morning is a wonderful way to get your day started. Even it's kind of contrary of thinking that we should move and do high impact in the morning, what has its place. But right out of bed, doing a yin yoga practice will really set the tone for the day. And then of course, anytime during the day. So let's roll a little bit to the side and bring it out. Shake your legs here a little bit, and then we're gonna prepare for the other side. I want to turn around so you can see me better. And bending now that right leg behind you, and start finding the comfort in the pose. Yin yoga done right before bedtime is another wonderful option. Ideally, an hour to an hour and a half of yin yoga is perfect. But let's face it, who really has the time on a regular basis to do that? So that's why I bring out shorter lessons or sessions of 20 minutes. I think I have another one out, what is around 30 minutes. So that gives you enough variety, and it builds your stretch, your flexibility, even with shorter sessions. You definitely reap the benefits even in a shorter practice. Focusing a little bit on what muscles you stretch, and then I roll out to the side and come back up again. And I'm stretching and walking out a downward facing dog. Still let that blood flow. And dancing dog, about 2 to 3. I'm gonna come back down and come here into a child's pose for just 2 or 3 breaths. And then the next one, we're gonna use a bolster or a body pillow or any bigger pillow or blocks. And we're gonna straddle our legs wide. So caution here, don't go right away too far out. Your body will really open up nicely, so you can always adjust the straddle. Either having a block right here for either under the chest or for your forehead. And again, start up slow. And then perhaps coming onto your forearms. Bending here directly from the hips, letting your hip flexors fall forward, and kind of keeping that spine as long as you can without rounding. See, the longer you're holding it, the more you open up, you can readjust. That's the beauty of it. I'm going to show you how it looks like with the bolster. That's super relaxing. Turning your head to one side for a little while and then switch your head to the other side. And like I said earlier, you can pause the video if you want to stay longer than 2 minutes in one pose. Feel free to adjust that and do that. You can perhaps put a couple essential oil drops on your bolster, like a lavender. And just inhaling that to calm down and relax, or something a little bit more uplifting, like even a peppermint oil. Or just let the diffuser run in the background. Our 2 minutes are over. Push it out of the way. Reach up here and slow cactus. Pull that belly really tightly in. And then we're gonna come here into the diamond pose. So forming a diamond shape with your inner thighs. It's not Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. We want to open up the hips and the lower back and the hamstring a bit more. Again, feel free to use a block or a pillow. I put my forearms under my lower legs. It helps me to open up my hips deeper, but it also helps me to go deeper into the pose. You don't have to do that. You can have your hands resting on your ankles. Turning my head here a few times, keeping it nice and fluid. And then slowly coming out of it, bringing your knees, your legs together, hug them tightly to the chest, sit up straight and turn your head a few times from side to side. And then we're going to finish with a nice side stretch here before we go into Shavasana. And a twist. Twisting goes very well with Yin Yoga. Spine loves to twist. About 2 or 3 times. And then make your way, this is optional, into a Shavasana. If you have the time, go ahead and do so. Make yourself really comfortable here in Shavasana. If you decide to go, at least a minute or 2, or even longer if you have the time. I thank you so much for practicing with me today. Share my videos. Please subscribe and press the little notification bell on the right side. Leave me a comment and let me know what else you want to see. Have a fantastic day. Be blessed.